Good morning, Friday Somatics people. I miss you. I want to say hello, first of all. Hello. Wish we could still be outside together, but it's a little chilly. As far as me saying hello and waving my arms, moving my legs, that's what we're going to do today. We're going to do a practice. I'm going to call it limb love. So we're going to work on our arms and our legs, which typically I pick one half of the body, one area. So this is a whole new experience. I do have a disclaimer with this class. Most of you have probably been doing somatics with me for a while. However, if you have not, this is not the class for you to start with. Typically with somatics, we start from the center of the body, particularly the pelvis. So arms and legs are usually the last thing to be addressed. But today, they're the most important. So we're going to come down to the ground. We're going to start with legs. If you have a slippery surface, that's great. I put my blanket down because my sticky mat is just that sticky. But we'll come down to the ground first. We're just going to do a short little body scan, or just waking ourselves coming into our body. So feel free to take any movements. Like be crazy, right? Move like your favorite animal. We get very stuck into only moving one way or the other because that's what societal norms tell us, right? We're supposed to walk a certain way. We're not supposed to swing our hips or look too sexy. You know, we're supposed to hold our head a certain way. You get to do whatever you want. Take a few more moments to move around. Maybe take full body yawns. Invite yourself in. Say hello to your arms and legs. And then settle. And if it's okay, settle with your legs long. And just be still. And notice the space that is legs from the toes to the hips. Just want you to be aware of a space from toes to hips. Define in your mind what is leg. What is right leg? And what is left leg? Both lovely, I might add. But define that in your mind. Where is this place? Maybe you feel your skin. You might feel your clothing on your skin, in your legs. You could feel the bones or the muscles. Anything that you can feel in the legs. And then also notice what you don't feel or what you're not aware of if you're scanning from the toes to the hips. Say thank you to your legs. And then we're going to do the same thing with the arms. So picture the space from the fingertips and then just the arms. So fingertips coming into the shoulder sockets. Think of that space, just like the hips are the sockets for the legs, the upper torso. You can feel the sockets for the arms. And just picturing that space. Whole right arm, whole left arm. Maybe one feels different than the other, lighter or heavier. Maybe the hand position, your natural position for your hands is different. And just being aware of that space of arms. Think of all of the lovely things that we do with our hands and arms. Things we do for ourselves and the things we do for others. Say thank you to your arms. We're going to start with a very gentle, slow movement for both arms and legs. So I want you to think of your hands and think of your feet. We'll do hands first because we were just on hands. As you breathe in, just gently open your palms up. So if your palms are down, you might need to flip them up. Open the palms, and as you breathe out, make a soft fist. And then breathe in and breathe out. Imagine your fingers are just dancing. Your palms are dancing. Opening on the inhale, closing on the exhale. If you don't want it to, do it to your breath. You don't have to. But as you're doing this, notice how you feel it all the way up the arms, or how far up the arms do you feel it? Just moving your hands, opening and closing. And we watch for things as we're moving the hands, like, do you feel tension building anywhere around the neck or the head or the jaw, in the shoulders themselves, maybe the low back? Can you keep everything else relaxed? And just do one more, open and close. And then let that relax. And come into your wrists and start to make circles of your wrists. And so I'm not moving my elbows, just my wrists. Notice what it feels like just to roll your wrists. And I tend to go into a soft fist when I do that, but if you want to keep the fingers open, it's your prerogative to do it the way you want. Maybe you're picking up some of the sound of my wrists as they make lovely cracking musical noises. You can go both directions with the circles. And notice how much you feel that in your arms. And then relax. And then we'll come into our elbows, and you're simply going to, if you want to do it on your breath, you can inhale, lift the lower arms and bend into the elbows. You might even come all the way where your fingers touch the upper arms or the shoulders. And exhale, let the arms fall back down. So just bending into the elbows, letting the arms come back down. Super simple. But there's a process of staying present. Notice your upper arm muscles now, the way they draw your fingers in towards your heart, and then take your hands away from the heart. Just noticing that. The last one in the elbows, and then let the arms relax. Feel your shoulders. Notice the shoulders. And see if you can just make some really gentle circles with the shoulders. So you may find that your shoulder wants to lift more towards the ear, up towards the sky, or press into the ground. It can also go down towards the hip. These are some of the movements, but don't overthink it. Just let your shoulders do their thing. They can move together, or they might each take their own movement pattern. Just see what it feels like. What parts of your body do you feel now? What are you aware of? What's changed? And whenever something changes, there's also something that stays the same. Noticing that. And rolling those shoulders around. And then you can sigh, let your shoulders relax. Now we're going to take the whole arm, and the best way I think of describing it is if you've ever seen a fish flopping on a pier. We're going to flop our arms. So palms might be up to start or down, but you're just going to go flop your whole arm in and out. And you might keep them more on the ground and just roll them. If they want to come up higher, you're exploring. The whole arm moving. Palms flipping, fingers can move. Feel everything from the finger into the shoulder joint. Just floppy fish arms. Lifting them just as high as it feels okay for you. You can go slower or really fast. Faster is going to build more heat. Hopefully you've got some padding under your hands though. And then just let the arms relax and be there. Is there like a zinging or a sense of energy in your arms, a warmth, maybe even a tiredness? Feel that space of arms. Let the arms relax. We'll switch our awareness down into our toes. And just like we move just the palms, fingers, we'll move just our toes. And just wiggle your toes however it feels best for you. And watch you're not moving your ankles. Can you keep the ankles still in their relaxed position? And just move the toes. If, by the way, you're having any back pain, you can do this with either your knees bent and feet on the floor so your low back is long relaxed, or put a bolster, a blanket, sorry, I'll grab my blanket, something, you're just wiggling your toes, but something underneath the knees to keep a bend in the knees. So it might look more like this for you. In fact, I'm going to do that because that feels really yummy. I'm just moving my toes. And that sense of toe movement creates sensation all the way up the leg line. How high up the leg line can you feel yourself? You can wiggle your big toes. Your big toes actually go in circles. That's what we call a saddle joint. So you can take those around in little circles like you're drawing smiley faces on the ceiling. And then relax the toes. Come into your ankles, and just like we circled our wrists, we can also circle the ankles. Going nice and easy around. Notice the relationship of the ankles to the feet and the rest of the legs. And never hold yourself back if something else needs to move. So as I'm moving my toes, I just feel this need to kind of roll my head around and readjust my shoulders. So I'm going to let my body lead me into that movement, any adjustments that need to be made. And you can switch the direction of the ankle circles. Try going really slow all the way around, and you can move from the ball of the foot, from the heel, from the arch. Feel all those different parts of your foot. You can move from the top of the foot. And relax. And then for the next one, when we go into knees, if you do have something underneath your knees, you might have to remove it, or you can try it first with it in there. But we're going to imagine that our knees are like basketballs, and we're going to dribble them. So if you want to do one at a time first, you can. It's just like this. So if you got something underneath you, you're just going to dribble your knee like this. And then you can also dribble your other knee. If you don't have anything underneath you, it'll look like this. I could do one at a time, or I like to do both. I'm dribbling my knees. You can go really slow. Feel those calves. Or you can go faster, build more heat, more vibrancy, just dribbling your knees. You can do opposites, one going one way and one the other way. Lots of fun things we can do with our knees. Just dribbling those knees. And then relax. Let go. Last joint in the legs, just like the shoulders hold the arms on, the hips hold the legs on, and we'll come into our hips. So when we do the hips, what I like to do is first keep the legs long and just push through one leg and the other. So imagine like if you put your hands on the front of the hips, you can feel your hip bones. Go ahead and feel your pelvis, because that's where you're connecting. Push one forward and then push the other forward, almost like you're walking in place. So this is a lengthening, but you can feel not just the leg lengthening, but the hips back and forth, like there's a sliding that goes on. Sliding the legs. You could try to push both at a time. It's really difficult. I like to opposite sides, one and then the other. So just sliding from the hips first, and then we'll go ahead and we'll slide the feet in, and we'll make circles from the hips. So you can bring both legs in and just go around if that feels okay. Arms can be wherever you want. It'll feel as if you're massaging the low back, but think of moving from the hip crease. Keep the weight of your legs relaxed. You can draw them towards you, take them to one side as far as you want to go, and away from your body to the other side. And you can switch the direction on those circles of the hips. Just feel your legs moving in space, in the air. Maybe you're feeling your clothing move on your skin as you do this. Or your pant legs might have even slid down, right? All things we just notice because it keeps us in the moment. Its only importance is it keeps us in the moment. And then we're going to take the legs back down, slide them out. If you like your blanket, take the blanket underneath there. And then we're going to, where we did the floppy fish arms, with the legs, you can either go back to bouncing like the basketballs or rolling them in and out. And feel yourself, I like the roll. Feel yourself rolling all the way from the hip crease to the toes. Just roll the legs in and out. Just feeling that. So notice if you feel it just in your legs. Does your head want to respond? Your shoulders? Just rolling them. You can go really slow or really fast. You can roll and bounce. There's no set standard here. You're just moving your legs from toes to hips. Everything else relaxed. And then let go and relax. And just see if you feel any sort of sensation in your legs. Is there warmth or tingling? Are they heavier or lighter? Maybe they're touching the floor differently than when you first started out. Then we're going to go into arms and legs together. So this takes sometimes a little bit more thought and coordination. You can do the floppy fish arms if you'd like. And remember, the arms could be down at your sides when you're doing that. They could come up here a little bit. And then we're also going to do the legs. So moving arms and legs might feel weird, but think just arms and legs. The rest of your body is steady and grounded. You could also play with the distance between your legs so they could go wider apart as you're doing this. You could do like one side, just my left side. I could do just my right side. Make it a dance. Or if you want to make things more complicated, try doing right arm and left leg, so that cross body, just flopping like a fish on a pier. And then if you do that, you'd want to do your left arm and right leg. That takes some thought. You can feel those motor neurons go, what? You want me to do what? The stall. Any way you want to play with. Flopping your arms and legs. We're just creating a little bit of energy and heat in these beautiful limbs. Notice your breathing. And then come to a point where you just want to be still. And again, awareness into the arms and legs. You might feel like you did a little something. What does that feel like? All right. We're going to work with just the legs again. This one you'll want to see if you have a slippery surface. That's great. I'm going to see if I get caught into the blanket. But we'll start with just the left leg. And you're going to pull your left knee out to the left side so your left foot is facing your right inner leg. And you're going to slide it up and then just let it fall open. So this is external rotation of the thigh, but your knee's bending. You're coming into the pinky toe side of the foot, and then just slide that away. Just do that a few times. It's like butter, just sliding it up, letting it fall. Not even going to work with breath. We're just going to do the movement. Sliding it back and forth. Letting it fall. And you can play with the foot, the left foot close to the inner right leg line. You can also take the foot wider out here. Different muscles, different experience. Sliding it back and forth. Just feel the coordination of the ankle, the knee, and the hip moving for you. Last one with the left leg. Let that left leg relax. We'll switch to the right leg. So you're going to kind of tip onto the pinky toe side of the right foot, slide the heel up towards your perineum, let your leg fall open, so towards the base of your spine, and then slide it out. Always remember, leave room for space for exploration, so you don't have to draw the foot all the way up as far as you think you can go that first time. Maybe slowly increase that motion or that end point. And the weight of the leg is heavy. I'm just letting it fall, particularly at the end when the knee is bent. I take that moment to let the weight of the thigh bone just fall. You can keep that right foot closer to the inner leg line, the left leg, or you can take it further away and do the same thing. Towards and away. Noticing ankle, knee, and hip. Last one. And then take that leg long. You can shake them out any way you want. So we're doing a lot of long-legged things, right? So if at any point you want to draw your knees in, roll into your back, you're welcome to do that. Want to keep the low back and the torso relaxed. So now we're going to do both legs like that. So you can take your legs long. What typically happens is we pull them up with the feet touching, and you can do that. In yoga we call it Badakanasana. But you can also, the feet don't have to touch. The feet can stay wider apart. So if you kept your feet in line with your hips and pulled up, that's a little bit different, right? So you're going to pull up, let them relax, and then lengthen them. Or you can take the soles of the feet together. All right, I was afraid this blanket wasn't quite going to stay there. If you're having the same problem I'm having, just move the blanket. So I'm going to slide my legs out and then pull my heels in and slide them out. Pull them. It actually feels nice now. I have a little extra padding underneath my back. This was a good move. Sometimes things happen. You don't mean for them to, but my body says, yes, thank you. And you're sliding them in and then sliding them out. And just feeling that rotation through the thigh bones, rolling outward, the knees. Take your time. You can land and hold for a moment. And remember, you can also do it with your feet wider apart. Just sliding back and forth. Last one. And then let that go. Shake out the legs. We're going to go the opposite way with the legs, meaning internal rotation. So this one, you're going to slide your heel out. We'll do left leg first. Slide your left heel out a little bit to the left side of your body, and then bend the knee and draw the heel towards your left hip or to the outside of your left hip. So the thigh bone is dropping inward and rolling towards the center of your mat or towards the center of your body. And then we extend it out and let it go. So take the foot out, let it fall. And a lot of times there's more tightness with this internal rotation, so maybe you're just going part way. Remember to explore slowly, how far can you go? And we watch things, the difference between creating movement that is healthy and healing for our body versus pain that's causing destruction in our body is not just the sensations that we feel. It's not just what do you feel in your physical body. It's also how are you breathing? What are you saying to yourself? Notice all of those things. Just sliding it out, letting it fall in. Nice, do one or two more there. All right. And then take that left leg long. And each time take a moment in between, just notice the difference between your two legs. Maybe one feels warm or cool, or heavier or lighter. Feel your right leg from the toes to the hip, and you're going to start to slide the heel out to the right side of your mat, and then bend the knee, draw the heel up, drop the leg in. So this will be a good show for you because this is my tighter side and I really go slow with lots of loving kindness. So there's no jerking motion, it's a sweet, smooth sliding. And I know that what happens for me and some other people I work with experience this is that when we have discomfort or even pain in our body, it's not just the physical sensation that we feel. There's like a disconnect. So when I go to do this side, I really have to pay closer attention. It's hard for me to do it on a video because there's like my brain is doing this, it's like a brain fart, and it just doesn't want me to draw the heel out to the side. But yet once I get there and drop, it feels really good. So it's like you have to reprogram your brain. Neuromuscular refacilitation. That's a big one. You can go look that up. I'm doing a lot of that on my right leg today. And just sliding and letting it fall in. Okay, last one on that right side. So you can get to a space where you feel like you found your end range of motion. Relax again for a moment. And then we're going to put all of this together. So the next thing that'll happen is you will draw your heels in towards your buttocks, which we were doing earlier. There's your external rotation. Let your legs fall open. And then you're going to lengthen your legs. And then you're going to draw the left leg over to the side. You might let your head roll. Lengthen the leg. Draw the right leg over to the side. So to the right hip. Let it go. Draw both heels in. Drop. Both legs long. Left leg falling in and lengthening. Right leg falling in and lengthening. Drawing heels back in, letting the outer knees fall. So really focus on not just this as a movement. You want to enjoy the movement like a nice slow dance, but also as a feeling, a felt sense, a feeling sensation. What muscles are stretching and what muscles are contracting. Is it harder, easier to do one leg at a time when you're doing that external? And then there is one more option if you want to do both legs at the same time. As you slide the left heel over, also slide the right heel. Oops, sorry. So both heels can slide towards that outer left hip. That's like you look like you're skiing or something, like skier legs. And then take them long. And then slide the right heel and the left heel to the right side. So it'll get a little bit more into your torso and your waist if you want to do both legs. And then lengthen again, and then still coming up the middle. So this is like pose, counter pose. External rotation, legs go long. Internal rotation with just one leg or both legs. You'll feel the arch in your waist, so a lot more into the torso. My head likes to roll, so just watch what naturally occurs in your body. You're not asking it to. Does your head move? Do your arms want to reposition themselves in some way? Wherever you are, finish up with one more round. Sliding heels, letting the legs fall open. Taking any time you want to just pause in any position. All right. How'd that feel for your legs? Take the position that's most comfortable for your legs. I'm going to fix my mat. So we're done slipping and sliding. If you want to fix your mat, you can. We're going to go back into the arms. Like I said, it's Love Your Limb Day. Love your limbs. So we're going to switch back into the arms. So you may want to go back to the legs. The legs may feel fatigued and they did their work. So it's spa day for your legs. You can put something underneath the knees or the thighs. Let your legs hang out. Relax. Well, it's like you get your toes done and now we get your fingers done, right? It's spa day. So the toes are drying, the legs are relaxed, and we'll go into our arms. So we're going to do our cactus arms first. You're going to bend your elbows, slide your elbows up to the height of the shoulders, so your wrists are at the height of the shoulders. Then bend your elbows and point your fingers up towards the sky so that your wrist crease is right over the elbow. So I've got a 90-degree angle in my arms, but then relax the wrists and the fingers. And then you're just going to let your hands fall forward. But notice as I'm letting them fall, I'm not letting the wrist fall out to the side. I'm going to keep the wrist in line with the elbow in that 90-degree angle. So what happens is you'll feel the back of the left shoulder lift. There's an internal rotation of the arm bone. Same thing with the right. I'm going to just drop both of those down. And then we lift back up. And then we're going to go the opposite way, keeping the wrists in line with the arms. Let them fall back. And you're not pushing them, you're just letting the back of the arms, the back of the hands fall towards the ground. And we'll do that a couple times. If you want to do it to your breath, we inhale up, exhale, fall towards the hips, feel the backs of the shoulders lift. There's your internal rotation. Inhale up, exhale, fall back. There's your external rotation. One of the things you might note is we also use this as a little assessment. So as your arms are going back and forth, you can sense when your arms come to the backside by your head, are both hands touching the ground or maybe one slightly lifted higher, tighter. So that would you're just noting that, right, as we're starting out. Same thing coming forward. For me, my left hand, my fingers are usually about touching the ground. My right hand got a lot of space between my fingers and the ground. So just noting those differences before we start. Just back and forth. And then now that we found the motion, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to alternate arms. So as you exhale, let the left hand come down towards your hip and the right hand come overhead. And then we're going to turn the head towards that top right hand. You're just going to let the neck roll. And then inhale back to the center, head to center, fingers to center. Exhale, right hand down by the hip, left hand comes overhead, and you turn your head towards that left hand. Inhaling up, exhaling. Kind of reminds me of like that mailbox thing or something, that mailbox dance. If you don't want to do it to your breath, you can go slower. Really just absorb yourself in the motion. Sensing how now one arm, the top of the shoulders pressing into the ground, and the other, the top of the shoulders lifting away from the ground. Just feeling the muscles in the arms and through the shoulders. And then once we've got the head, the rhythm of the head, and it becomes super easy to where we don't even have to think about it anymore, that's when it's time to switch. So instead of looking at the top hand, see if you can turn your head towards the bottom hand on the exhalation. Roll the head to center and then look at the bottom hand. Sometimes it's good to check yourself too. We start to get sloppy, the elbows get down here, we're dropping our hands out to the sides. That's up to you. If you're enjoying it, just keep going. But sometimes I'll check in with myself. Try to take my arms back to the original position if they've slid. And last one. And then just let your arms fall, let your head come to the center. Again, just notice any tingling, any movement, like an energetic movement in the arms that you feel. Legs are just having a day at the beach. But notice your arms. All right, we're going to do one more on the ground for the arms. And this one, you can take your arms down to your side. If in between you need to hug your knees in or take a full body yawn, that's up to you. I always leave those, I call it the yoga recess, the somatic yoga recess. Leave that time in between to do what you need to for yourself, or just be still and breathe. So this one is like, I compare it to like if we were climbing a rope. So you're going to take just your left arm and imagine reaching your fingertips up, but then plug the arm into the shoulder. So what will happen is your shoulder blade will come down to the ground. So like you're pushing your shoulder blade into the ground, but we want to keep that connection. Because if I just lift my arm out of my shoulder, then the shoulder itself doesn't lift so much. It's just I feel the stretch in my arm, which is good. There's nothing wrong with that. But if I keep the arm plugged, the upper arm plugged into the shoulder, then as I lift, my whole shoulder lifts up. You can see the difference there, right? Just the arm moving versus whole shoulder kind of rotating. And I'm going to do that just a few times with this left hand first. And I like to reach and relax. As you relax, it comes back down. Just, you don't have to push it so much. Feel the weight of the arm bones just fall into the shoulder socket, right? And naturally happens. The release naturally happens. Here's the effort to lift and then the release. Do one more on that left side. And then come down. Let it relax. Let your neck play with this movement however it wants to. It may want to respond. Then we'll take the right arm. So same thing, I want to reach, but I want to plug the arm bone into the shoulder socket, which means your shoulder blade will start on the ground. And then you're reaching, and not just the arm lifting up, but as you reach, the shoulder blade lifts up. Sometimes you'll feel a lot more connected in one shoulder than the other. So this is my disconnect. I really have to pay attention to lift the whole arm and the shoulder blade, and then just let the weight of the arm bones fall. Come back to that relaxing point. Might even help to spread your hand as you lift, make the hand active, and then release the fingers as it falls. One more there. And then let that come down. Take a moment. We're going to do that one more time, but this time we're going to alternate with left and right arm. So you can do it to your breath or not if you're doing it to your breath. So both arms will come up, plug the arm bones in. It'll be inhale up, exhale, let the bones fall. Inhale up, opposite side, and let the bones fall. And now you might feel more of that like you're climbing something. Lifting up, you'll feel your shoulders rotate. Fall back down. Lifting up. Rotating. Nice. You can even reach with the hand. We're moving from the arms, but feel how your torso responds too. You're getting a little rotation in the upper back. Head may want to turn. Last one. And then just let the arms fall. All right, so there's this beauty. If you haven't done it yet, I'll encourage you to do it. Give your arms and legs, let them touch each other. We call it giving ourselves a hug, right? Whether it's to the backs of the thighs or the shins, hug your legs in. It might be out here somewhere. You might even be able to touch your feet. Doesn't matter if you can, but if you can take hands to feet. Think of how babies lay on their back and play with their toes, right? Come on, at some point we all did that. Admit it. And so you can let yourself roll your legs around again, roll your ankles. You can move your wrists and your arms. I just want you to think of arms and legs and let your torso follow. My head goes too, but arms and legs. Move your arms and legs. Close your eyes for this one. Don't follow my movement pattern. Just let your arms and legs play. So you can touch your legs, you can let go. Where do your arms and legs want to go in space right now? You know that your back and spine is fully supported. Just be really playful. Go back to, okay, favorite animal. What do animals do, right? Crazy things. Moving arms and legs. There's things we do in yoga like coming into happy baby poses. That could be in your range of motion. Taking arms overhead. But look at the way these four limbs can move independently of one another, right? There's no limitation. You can bicycle pedal your legs. Just moving and grooving. And then stop and let go and relax. Feel anything that feels like vitality flowing in your body, movement, energy, that current of awareness flowing through your body, particularly your arms and your legs. All right. We're going to do one more posture today, and this time we're going to go on to our front side. So take your time. I'm sitting up so I can see you, but you can roll to your side first if you want. Maybe just rock yourself. Pausing on your side and then coming all the way onto the abdomen. So we've been lifting arms and legs away from the ground with the front side of the body down. With the back side of the body down. But we can do the same thing with the front side of the body down. It's just a different sensation because of gravity. We use different muscles. But I want you to come into a position where you're completely comfortable. You can roll your shoulders again. Jelly roll your legs. Shift your hips side to side. And we'll start again from the feet. So I'm going to give you different options and ways to move this. So we're exploring really in a very playful way today and in more of a do what you choose way. So sometimes we're going to lift, I'll lift the right leg first because you can see that more. Sometimes when we lift the right leg, there's a bend in the knee and we do this. Or sometimes the leg is straight and we do this. It doesn't matter to me. I just want you to acknowledge your right leg from your toes to your what's that called? Your hip. And then lift and drop. And lift and drop. It can be bent knee lift and drop. It could be leg closer to the middle of your body, lift and drop. It might be leg wide. You can try to kick yourself in the butt if you want. We're really just playing with what does it feel like to lift that right leg off the ground. You might notice more of an activation of the muscles in the back of the right leg through the buttocks. And then that coming down, that coming home and just shaking it out and letting it relax. Moving from the right leg. Does it feel different if your toes are pointed versus flexing your ankle? These are all just things that we're experiencing. And then you might even lift the leg up with either the knee bent. Yeah, that's usually a little bit easier, or leg straight. Just think of kind of making some circles with the leg. A little more, so it takes a little bit more effort. Circling that right leg around. Watch that we don't get, if you're cramping up, let it come back down. And then let it flop. Let it relax, shake it out. Be still just long enough to feel your right leg and your left leg. So is there more feeling sensation, more awareness of your right leg now than your left? Let's make it even. So bring your awareness into your left leg. And typically if I do it to my breath, I lift on the inhale and drop on the exhale, but you can move slower. Explore a nice slow lift. Leg straight or knee bent. What does it feel like to lift your leg away from the earth, going against gravity? I feel the stretch through the front of the thigh and the front of the hip. Different if we keep the leg straight versus bending the knee. Can you feel that difference? Leg more to the center of the body as we lift. Or maybe legs out to the side wider. Do whatever you feel like doing to take the leg off the ground. Feel it leave, right? And then feel the weight of the leg rest on the ground. Lift it up. There's the effort. And then let it fall down. And then if you want to keep it up, kind of do little circles. You can do that with the leg straight or the knee bent. Or just keep lifting and dropping, particularly if you get any cramping. And then let that left leg fall down. Shake out your hips again. Let's windshield wiper the legs. So bend both knees and drop the feet to one side of the mat and then the other side. You can just do this side to side. Notice how your pelvis moves too. Soften the belly into the ground. You can also make little circles from the knees. As you drop side to side, draw the heels towards your buttocks and take them away. You can circle both directions, both legs moving simultaneously. A lot like that internal and external rotation we already did. Last circle. Let the legs drop. Just be present in whatever it is you feel in your legs. Toes all the way up to the hips. Do you have more awareness in the fronts of the legs now or the backs? They feel heavier or lighter? And then we're going to go into the upper body and into the arms. So we're moving from the arms and we're moving from the legs, but we're also noticing how our torso comes into play here. So you can take your arms either out to like a goalpost position where the elbows are just to the height of the shoulders. So I'm going to do my best so that I'm not muffling myself in my blanket here. Or you can take your elbows a little bit higher, more like a diamond shape. See what feels best for you, either resting on your chin or your forehead. I'm on my chin just so you can hear me. We'll start with the right arm because you can see that. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to lift the right arm, and I might keep it in the bent position like a goalpost, or I might keep it, keep it in the diamond shape. I'm going to lift it up, let it come all the way back down. And we're not going way up to where we're cramping, right? We just want to feel the arm lift. I always think of trying to float it off the ground and dropping back down. And if that feels okay, we can take it a little bit longer. We can do a lift and a reach and then down. Lift and reach at the same time and then down. You can even keep the arm long if you'd like. See if you can work from just that right side. Or as you're lifting the right arm, is the left arm trying to tighten too? Can you keep the left arm on that beach holiday? The other thing is if you find there's discomfort in the neck and you'd rather rest on one cheek or the other, it gives you different experiences of lifting anyhow. You could look towards the right arm or you can look away from the right arm. So just lifting or lifting and reaching. And then if you want to lift it and kind of make little circles, circling that arm around. And then let the right arm fall down. Relax it. Just noticing right arm and left arm, any difference? Is there a tiredness? Is there a sense of accomplishment? Does it feel strong or weak? And switching to the left arm. So you can do that bent elbow. It might even be, if it's more comfortable to keep your elbow more down here by your ribs, do that. You have to adjust the arm position. You can have more of a bend down here. The further your arm goes from your torso, the more sensation it's going to create typically. So we can start either elbow all the way down, we're doing left arm now, or elbow at the height of the shoulder. Maybe elbow slightly in front of the shoulder. And each of these positions will feel a little different too. Just lifting the arm and dropping it down. So simple. But you're going to feel gravity. Gravity is having a little bit of an argument with you, right? But you're going to win that argument. You're going to lift it up and then just say touche and let it fall back down. Lift it up, say I win, and then I relax into you. And if you want to do more of a stretch, lengthening the arm and then letting it fall down, you can do that. Maybe resting on one cheek or the other, just to give yourself a different sensation from the neck and the shoulder. You can also lift that left arm and make some circles. So think of like a swimming, right? Now you can't see my left arm, so I'm doing my right, but like a swimming stroke with that arm. Just the left arm though, everything else is relaxed, right shoulder relaxed. And then let that fall down. So then we're going to put that together, but we're going to do a cross body pattern. So I want you to feel your right leg from your toes to the hip and your left arm from the fingers to the shoulder. And imagine yourself in an X, a big human X. And the center of your X is somewhere in the center of your back. And then it goes out through that right leg to the toes and through the left arm to the fingers. When you're ready, you're going to lift up. And if you want to do it to breath, you lift up. You can just lift right leg, left arm, and then come back down. Let's do a couple on that side. Or you can lift and reach. You Might do it with a bent knee, bent elbow, it doesn't matter. Arm and leg are coming away from gravity and then falling into gravity. Doing this one to your breath can be helpful, so think of floating up on the inhale as you breathe in, your belly fills, your chest fills, and then float back down. The other thing we can do is add the head to this, the head movement. So as you exhale and come down, turn your head towards the arm that was lifted. So towards the left arm. Let's do one more on just that side. So you can turn head to the center as you lift up, and then towards the left arm as you come down. Opposite sides, lifting, maybe reaching, and coming down. Feel free to windshield wiper your legs, or sometimes I need to stretch my arms behind me. Just roll my shoulders around and come down. So now, once again, picture the back of your body, because that's harder to do, right? It's really, even with a mirror, it's hard to see our backside. That's the side we never get to see. But I want you to see your backside from the center and out through the left toes and the right fingers, this big X. When you're ready, as you breathe in, lift the left leg and the right arm up. Let them float up as you breathe in, just like your chest floats up. And then come back down. And you could just lift arm and leg and your head's not even lifting. But when you come down, you can rest onto your right cheek. So I don't have to lift my chest. I could just lift arm and leg, right? Just lifting arm and leg. Lifting up, maybe reaching. You can do it with a bent knee, bent elbow. Coming down. Or you can float the head off the ground. Turn to the center. Exhale back onto that left cheek, looking at the right arm. It's your call. Just arm and leg, and torso stays down. Or lifting the whole body. Torso too. And then come down again. Feel free to jelly roll the legs, roll the arms around. We got the last one. I'm doing the exact same thing, but we're going to alternate sides. So as best you can, make it less effort. Think of floating off the ground. The arm and leg is just floating, and if the torso decides to follow it, that's grand, and if it doesn't want to, that's okay too. So I'm going to see that X from my right toes to my left arm, and I'm going to lift up, and it might be just arm and leg. And then as I come down, I turn towards my left arm, right cheek to the ground. Then I'm going to come up, left leg, right arm, turn the head towards center, and then onto my left cheek towards the right arm, coming down. See if you can come down smooth, so no crashing. Again, just arm and leg, and just sort of floating through your chin, like your chin might slide around your mat. Or lifting all the way up. Floating back down. What does it feel like to move from opposite arm and leg? And what does it feel like to let that arm and leg just rest on the ground again? Notice how strong your backside is when you're lifting. But also notice how it completely relaxes. Feel free to do one or two more. All right. And we're going to be coming back down onto our backs for relaxation, but if before that you feel like you can always stay here and just wiggle around, but if you feel like you need to release your back more and you like child's pose, you can press back into child's pose. You could also move back and forth out of a child's pose or coming onto your backside, letting your knees come into your chest, just like we started. Take that position that you need for yourself. If you're in your child's pose, take a few more breaths. And then come onto your backside so we can settle in. Because we did legs, I really encourage you to, if you like your knees extended for relaxation, to put something underneath the knees or the thighs. So let the legs be heavy and supported. Maybe you want something bigger than a blanket. Nice big fluffy pillow off your couch and a blanket. And then with the arms, see where your arms, and just jelly roll your legs again. Notice if your toes want to fall out, so just let the legs relax. And your arms, you can have the palms up. Notice what that feels like for your arms. Palms down. Maybe just the pinky finger side down. Can't say that today. Hands might be more comfortable on the body somewhere or out to your sides. I actually love taking my arms overhead after working them, so I find more spaciousness in my chest, but it has to be comfortable for your arms. So where do your arms want to be? And you could do the flippy floppy fish arms again, see where they land. And just like we did when we were on our front side, doing the leg and arm lift, I want you to feel yourself from the center of your body. And the center of the body could be anywhere in your torso. You may sense your center today all the way down in your abdomen or in the pelvis. You may sense yourself centered in your solar plexus. You might sense yourself centered in your heart, the lungs. Where do you feel yourself at center? What is your origin of center right now? And it's an open-ended question. There's no right answer to that. And I want you to begin to breathe into that juicy center. And even if you don't physically breathe into it, so maybe it's your abdomen's moving, maybe it's your solar plexus and you feel your ribs moving. Might be your heart, and you feel your chest moving. But even if you don't feel the physical movement of the breath, let that space be the origin of the awareness of breath. So belly, solar plexus, heart. And we breathe in, and we notice, and we feel, and we breathe out, and we relax. Or we at least send the invitation for the body to relax. And start by feeling your torso itself. All of the bones of your body, the muscles, the backside that's touching the ground. Breathe into that center. Breathe out. Let the torso relax. And then we're just going to switch the awareness a little bit from that center. Breathe into the center. But breathe out and breathe all the way through the left leg, from your center to the toes on the left foot. All 5 toes. As if the breath could almost come out the toes. We breathe in, and we notice our awareness in that center. We breathe out as if we could see ourselves from our center going through the left leg, the upper leg, the lower leg, and into the foot and the toes. Take 3 more rounds of breath, just like that. And then we'll switch our awareness. Notice your right leg from the toes to the hip. Breathe into your center. Breathe out. Send your awareness down that right leg, through the hip crease, the knee joint, the ankle, into the right toes, maybe even out the right toes. Breathe in and notice. We breathe out and we relax. Feel yourself from center into the right leg to the toes. Take 3 more rounds of breath. Just sense your own body, the left fingers, the hand, lower and upper arm, all the way into the shoulder, whatever position it's in. It's like you have a mirror and you can see yourself in that mirror. Breathe into your chosen center, your home for your awareness. Just notice as you breathe out, image that energy, that awareness going through the left shoulder and down the arm and all the way out the fingers. Maybe even creating warmth in the palm of the hand. Breathing into the center and breathing out the left arm, down the left arm. Take 3 more rounds of breath just like that. Reacquainting yourself with your center. Also notice the space of right shoulder, upper arm, your elbow, the wrist, all the way to the fingers. Breathe in, just noticing that center. Breathe out, send that awareness and energy through the right arm, from the top of the shoulder and all the way through the palm and out the fingers, creating any sensation you'd like in your palm. Do this 3 more times. Come back to your home for your awareness in the center of your torso. And now we've located all 4 of our lovely limbs. The left leg, the right arm, and the left arm. Maybe see yourself as a 5-point star, 5th point being your head. Breathe into your center, just be aware of that center. And breathe out, send all of that awareness, all that love through all of your limbs, down the left leg to the toes, the right leg, right arm to the fingers, left arm to the fingers. As if your mind can move through any sort of structural tissues or bones, muscles, through the joints themselves. We breathe into the center, we breathe out all the way through the periphery of the body. Do this 3 more times. And just feel these furthest points from your center, the fingers, the toes, and you can begin to wiggle fingers and toes. Notice your wrists and your ankles and rotate your wrists and your ankles. If for any reason you want to stay here longer in this space of limb bliss, you absolutely can. Otherwise, find any other movements. We usually know how we like to come out, whether it's a full body stretch or hugging the knees in. You can roll to one side and pause. How do you like to come out? And see if you can carry some of this awareness of your lovely limbs into your day today, maybe even into your week. Notice all the things that your limbs do for you, or take a moment to feel them from your connection point. The way your feet hit the earth and move you forward, and the way your arms can move in so many directions, bringing things to you and pushing things away from you. And if you want to come back to a seated position, you can. Otherwise, bring your hands to your heart center. Thank you for offering your lovely limbs this practice today. Peace and joy and love and light. Namaste.